Hello, artists. Welcome back. And it is such a pleasure to have you back with me for the TLC Arts and Skills Ministry art class. My name is Nicole Georges Bennett, and today we will be continuing with our peacock painting, which was inspired by Junie Art, and she is a YouTube artist. So feel free to subscribe to her channel, and of course, subscribe to TLC Arts and Skills Ministries YouTube channel as well. So I want to say hi to my co-teachers Joan and Christine. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, as well as to all of our students of the TLC Arts and Skills Ministry class, and to all of you who are just sort of stumbling onto our channel and discovering us for the first time. We're very happy to have you here on the TLC Arts class. What we try to do is to help you develop your God-given talents and skills for His glory. So everything that we produce, we give it back to the Lord, or we say that it is for His glory, because He's the one that gave us the skills to begin with, right? So today what we're going to be doing is continuing on to finish up our peacock painting. We have had our devotional from before, so I'm just going to leave it in the comments so that you can read it for yourself once you get a time, and just kind of refresh your mind as we begin our painting today. All right, so today what we're going to be working on are the feathers on this wing, as well as on the eyes, the peacock eyes of our tail. So to start with, we are going to be working with our smaller brushes today. And we are going to start with a rather bright colored green. So what I'd like to do is to mix a bit of green with a bit of white. And I will show you how to get started on that. So I know that some of you have already finished your peacock paintings and they look beautiful. So feel free, of course, to join us and to chat in our WhatsApp group, and let us know what you think of the finished product. Chat amongst yourselves. And for those of you who are continuing on with me, I'm so happy you decided to wait. And let's see what we can do here. So we are going to work with just sort of a little scallop shape like this. Hope you can see that. Similar to what we did with our white feathers on the black wing here, but we will be using green on this one, making them a little bit bigger as we go along. Now we're not trying to join them necessarily. We're giving sort of a hint here that they are connected, and we're just making these sort of little scallop shapes. When we come to the eye, just go around them a little bit. All right. We're going to go one step brighter. So we're going to add a little tiny bit of white to the mixture that we already have. And we're just going to sort of go back in and kind of highlight some of these areas. If you've got a really nice bright green, that's perfect for what we're doing here. Some paints are much more vibrant in color than others. So some of you may have a brighter shade of green than what I have here. I'm actually going to experiment a little bit here and see if I can get a slightly brighter green. One way you can also do it is to mix yellow with your green. So I'm probably going to try that, mixing a little bit of yellow into my green and see what kind of shade I get. So just dipping it into here. Yeah, that works really nice. So again, one dab of green, one dab of yellow, or two dabs of yellow actually. Try and bring up the color a little bit. Or maybe three dabs of yellow. Okay. All right. So I've got an eye here that's maybe a little bit too high, but we'll work around that. Don't worry about it. So what we are going to do now is we won't do all of our feathers, but I am going to begin the process by drawing a line at the top of each of our eyes. So just a line like this. And that will kind of give us our guide a little later on when we do draw in those little tail feathers. And I'm using the same shade of green. All right. I'm gonna rinse out our brush. And we're gonna grab a smaller brush, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna work on the colors on the inside of the eye. I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to work with our dark blue color, and we're going to draw sort of a heart shape inside at the top of each eye, but instead of having the rounded curves to the heart, they will be more triangular shape. So maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you can see what that's gonna look like. Just bear with me. Alrighty. As per usual, can never find anything when you need it. So I'm going to be using my dark blue, as I mentioned. This shade actually is cobalt blue, but of course you can use peacock blue if you can find it at your local Dollarama or art supply store. So I'm going to be using quite the darkest blue that I've got here with me. If you'd like to match this blue, you just basically add a touch of black to the blue color that you have to get a really deep, rich blue, but just be careful that you're not adding so much black that you end up with pure black, because as we know, it does kind of overtake everything. Going to go for my smallest brush here. Try to get it to a point. And then I'm going to draw, like I said, sort of a little heart shape. There we go. And we're going to do this for all of the eyes. So this is the part that's a bit painstaking or fiddly, as some people would say. Just, take your time and enjoy the process. Oops. All right, so that takes care of that. I'm just thinking, trying to remember what color the crown is. Can't remember what color the crown is, so I guess we'll just do it in okay. So since we are already working in that dark color, I'm just going to draw, I'm going to paint in this little crown, which is actually just these sort of 4 feathers sticking up like that. Sorry if I just sort of moved on to that without letting you know, but yeah, so we're going to just quickly paint the crown here. So for that we'll need your regular shade of blue. I know we've used a lot of blue already, but we're just going to quickly do this. Because it's pretty simple, pretty quick. You're basically just doing little dots at the top here, so regular blue. And on top of that blue, we're going to put some little tips of white. So, there we go. So crown's all done. As we are in our white, actually, I just remembered that we have not as yet put in that little shine in the eye. So we are just going to do that right now. Make sure you've got your paintbrush to a point. And we're just going to put a dot right here. Right here, and another one right here. That just gives your eye a bit of, yeah, just bring it down a little bit. That just gives your eye a bit of shine. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. Now, we are going to move back into our tail. And for that, what we will need, let's see. Oh, sorry, for our eyes, yeah. So we're going to now work with a light blue color around the dark. I think maybe we might need to give that a little bit more time to dry. Mine's dry. I hope yours is too. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to use a light blue. So you just basically mix whatever your main blue color is that you're using with a little bit of white, or if you already happen to have light blue paint, you can just use that as well, which is what I'm going to do just for the sake of time. And we're just going to rim that eye, or the little heart shape inside of the eye, with this lighter shade of blue. Just carefully, you might want to switch out brushes to a smaller brush. All right, so now that we've got that all done, just taking a look at my notes here, we're going to rim that blue now with a slightly darker shade of yellow. So you notice we've got sort of this sort of ochre color, but now we're going to do a mix of brown and yellow. And I do mean like just a tip of brown and yellow. So more yellow than brown, obviously. So we're going to take our yellow and we're going to add just a tiny touch of brown to it. And what that will do is it will sort of act almost like a shadow under this blue. So let's see how that goes. If your blue is still wet, you can wait until so I need to add just a little bit more brown because I can't really see it actually. You may need to do that as well. Just add a little bit more brown. It's almost like you're adding a shadow underneath the blue. All right, so we got that done. And then our final step will be to add pale green. Actually, we have two more steps, believe it or not. So we're going to add just some pale green around, trying to figure this out. Yeah, just around the eye, around the shape that we've got in the eye. So you can go back to that mix of green and yellow, which I happen to like. I like that it's a bright, and you can even maybe add like a little touch of white to it if you really want to go for a very light green. So that's, again, that's yellow, green, and white. And we're going to go, that brown that we just put on, we're going to go now underneath that. And we're going to keep that shade of green because we are going to use it for the fringe feathers around the eyes. So you want to probably keep out your colors to be able to mix up a batch of that. However, the next step will be to add, we'll need a darker shade of green. And that will help us to sort of set the base for the fringe feathers around the eyes. So I'm going to move to dark green now. Or actually just regular green. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say dark green really, but even if your green is darker than mine, that's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to start laying in some feathers here with your thinnest brush, which I don't think this is my thinnest brush, so I'm actually going to try to swap out brushes here. Let's see. There's always a sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A hunt. Trying to find my thinnest brush for a particular painting job. Some of the ones that I think would work don't. Then I end up having to, just sort of experiment. So this looks like it's going to be one of those. Okay. So you're going to come, if you remember, we drew these sort of long strips from the top of the eye. So just on either side of that, you're going to draw these little feathers. As thinly as you can manage. And when you get down to the eye area, you're going to draw them coming from the eye all the way down. So hopefully I'll have a better, I'll do this one so you can see it better. And then from either side of the eye, and from the base, we're going to draw these little feathers. Okay, like that. And that will help to connect the feathers to the background. And we'll cover over most of that blue background. And we're going to do this in this shade of green, the darker shade of green, and then we will go back over it with a lighter shade of green. I did say it would be painstaking work, but hopefully you are wowed by the effect and very happy with your work at the end of it all. Actually, on mine, it's not taking as long as I thought it was going to. I thought I'd be here for hours. These little blue spaces you can just fill in with feathers. So as I said, we're gonna go back in with a lighter green, and that will just be to highlight some of the feathers. We won't redo the whole thing. All right, so we've got that all done. Now I know some people are going to put blossoms on their tree. In the interest of time, I'm not going to do that, but you can definitely go ahead and I think Joan is better at doing the blossoms than I am, but I'll just put in like let's see if I've got any available paint here. I'll just show you sort of a quick one. Hopefully that it will work out. So, for example, you could probably put like a blossom that is like this. Oh, yeah, I'm using blue, yellow. And you just turn the points of your brush like this and just press down. You can have little blossoms. So, not the best. I'll just give it a center here. So I'm sure whatever you do is going to come out much better than that. I hadn't really planned on doing that, so I don't have the right brush. But just to give you an idea as to where you might want to put some blossoms. So let's finish this up. So what we're going to do now is to the lighter shade of green that you've got, we're going to go even lighter. So you want to put quite a bit of yellow mixed into your paint here. And a touch of white. You want it to be the lightest shade of green that you've got on your palette so far and on your painting. Again, get your brush to a point, and then we're just going to sort of highlight a few areas. We're not doing the whole thing. if you really wanted to add dimension and depth to your feathers, what you could do is go underneath the peacock eye with an even darker color, and that would give it almost a 3D effect. So you take like your darkest shade of green, for example, and go underneath there, or blue, and that would really make the colors pop. All right, folks. So I think that just about does it, and you can come back in to some areas where you feel like it would benefit from some of these little highlights. But your peacock is done, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you are happy with what you've come up with and what you have created. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's unusual for us to have you know, uh, two classes to complete one painting, but just because I wanted to really let this one dry in between, what I'm doing right now, I'm just putting a few little highlights here as well because I think it'll look nice. But yeah, you're done. You're all done. Make sure you sign your name because we should always be proud of the work that we've done. Thank you for joining TLC Art Ministries. And we look forward to seeing you back here next Saturday. Not sure who's up, but we'll tell you all about it in the WhatsApp class for TLC Arts and Skills Ministry. So until next time, enjoy the arts and God bless you.